Hi guys, it's Alex here, and today I'm going to show you one of the most famous opening traps. It's called the Legal trap or the Blackburne trap. It's a chess opening trap characterized by a queen sacrifice followed by checkmate with minor pieces if black accepts the sacrifice. Let's take a look at what I mean by this. So white starts with the move pawn to e4 and black meets it with e5. Now white plays knight f3, and black continues knight c6. White plays bishop to c4. Here, most of the time, black will play either knight to f6, the two knights defense, or bishop to c5, the classical Italian variation. However, black can also play the move pawn to d6, and here there is some danger to fall into Legal's trap. With the move pawn to d6, black opens up the diagonal for his bishop, and white can be very sneaky here and play the move knight to c3. Now, black could avoid the trap by simply playing a move like bishop to e7 and later on developing knight f6 and castling. Now, one of the things that I should point out is that the move knight to f6 immediately would be a dangerous move to play for black, because after knight to g5, the pawn on f7 would be impossible to defend. Therefore, black sometimes is tempted to first pin the knight to the queen. We pin the knight to the queen, and then black intends to play knight to f6 and develop normally. However, here white sets the trap. Pawn to h3 hits the bishop on g4. Now, black could capture on f3, but again, this is usually not desirable. The reason why it's not desirable is because after queen takes f3, black has given up his bishop and white has the bishop pair. Usually, the bishop pair in an open position is an advantage for white. Therefore, many players in this position bring the bishop back to h5, maintaining the pin. The problem is that already this move is a significant blunder. If you wish, you can pause the video now and try and find what is white's best move here. Okay, so white's best move is to capture the pawn on e5. This ignores the fact that white's queen will be lost. The problem is that if black captures the queen on d1, Legal's mate will occur. Bishop takes f7 check. The black king can only step to e7. The knight protects the bishop, and the knight also covers the d7 square. Therefore, black must go to e7. Now white brings his knight in to d5 and delivers checkmate. The king has no escape square because the knight covers the f6 square. So this is the typical situation, the typical position in Legal's mate. It is a checkmate delivered by the white minor pieces, although sometimes the same formation can occur for black, although it is far less common. Now, we should also look at one last thing, which is what happens if in this position black decides that he will not take the bait and instead he will simply capture the knight. There are two ways to capture the knight. One is with the pawn and the other is with the knight. With the pawn, it's easy to see why white is doing so well. After queen takes bishop, white is left with the bishop pair and he has won a central pawn. So white has a position that is close to winning. However, it is trickier to understand why black cannot be left with a good position after knight takes knight, queen takes bishop, and knight takes bishop on c4. At first sight, it seems as though white will lose 2 pieces for just 1. The problem for black is that if knight takes e5, queen takes h5, knight takes c4, the knight on c4 is undefended and the black king is exposed along the a4 to e8 diagonal. So white can use this against black and can play queen b5 check, forking the knight and king, and no matter what black does, white will recover his piece. And if we look at the position now, we see that white has emerged with an extra pawn, that initial pawn that he captured when he played knight takes e5. Now, this trap is really important to know, and not only is the trap itself important to know, but you should know this additional detail about queen h5 and then queen b5 check. I can tell you that many beginners fall for the trap in its most basic form after knight takes e5. But even master level players have fallen for the trap in its more advanced form. This idea of playing queen h5 and then checking on b5 is not so well known. So for sure, if you know this, you will be able to catch out even strong club players. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.